Your refusal to offend anyone is the most offensive stance you can take. Most people believe the opposite is true, that being agreeable is a virtue. They're wrong. The world is split between those who demand clarity and those who demand harmony, and the space between them is a minefield. The pressure to be liked is a cage, but the impulse to polarize can be a bonfire. Where do you stand? By the end of this, you'll see the line itself is the problem. The argument for taking a sharp, polarizing stand is seductively simple. It's a filter. In a world of infinite noise, being lukewarm is the same as being invisible. A brand, an artist, or a leader who tries to be for everyone ends up meaning nothing to anyone. They become a bowl of lukewarm oatmeal. Filling, perhaps, but utterly forgettable. By planting the flag on a hill and declaring what you believe, you send a signal, a powerful one. That signal acts as a sorting mechanism. It repels the indifferent, the skeptical, and the opposed. This feels like a loss. It is a gift, because the same signal that repels also attracts. It calls out to the people who were secretly waiting for someone to finally say the thing they believed. It gives them a banner to rally under. These are the 100 true fans, the loyalists, the people who will defend you when you're attacked and spread your message for you. They don't just agree with you. Your position becomes part of their identity. This is how you build a tribe. Apple did it by polarizing against the beige, corporate world of early computing. They were for the creatives, the rebels. Their stance wasn't just a marketing slogan. It was a worldview that created one of the most fervent consumer tribes in history. You get this level of loyalty by being specific, by being opinionated, by having the courage to say, this is what we stand for, and by extension, this is what we stand against. That sounds like a powerful way to build a movement, but it's also a perfect recipe for starting a war. There's a dark side to planting that flag. Every tribe you create automatically creates an anti-tribe, an outgroup that defines itself in opposition to you. The very act of drawing a line in the sand forces people to choose a side, even people who were perfectly happy in the middle. This is the argument for inclusion, for building bridges, for finding common ground. The proponents of this view argue that persuasion is impossible from a distance. The moment you label someone as the opposition, their brain shuts down. They are no longer listening to understand, they are listening for weaknesses in your argument so they can defeat you. The backfire effect kicks in. When presented with evidence that contradicts their core beliefs, people often double down on those beliefs. Your brilliant, logical, polarizing argument doesn't just fail to persuade them, it actively strengthens their original position. Your attempt to create clarity has actually created concrete. You've locked them into their opposition. The goal from this perspective should be to build the biggest tent possible, to keep everyone in the conversation. Because the only people you can ever influence are the people who are still willing to talk to you. The moment they walk away, you've lost. Permanently. And yet, what does that big tent really stand for? What happens when, in the name of inclusion, you sand down every sharp edge of your conviction? You end up with a message so diluted, so compromised, that it inspires no one. It might offend no one, but it moves no one either. It's the political party, whose platform is a series of vague platitudes. It's the corporate mission statement that says it wants to make the world a better place. It's safe. It's also hollow. This pursuit of universal acceptance has a hidden cost. The cost is your soul. You trade conviction for headcount. You trade a sharp point for a blunt, useless surface. The people you were trying to lead or inspire see the compromise. They feel the lack of courage, and they leave, searching for someone who actually believes in something. Anything. The core tension is about what you're trying to achieve. Are you trying to build a small, fortified castle of true believers? Or are you trying to build a sprawling open city where many different people can coexist? The castle is pure, but it's a siege waiting to happen. The city is vibrant, but it may lack a coherent identity or purpose. Most people think this is a binary choice. You are either a bridge builder or a bomb thrower. The debate is framed incorrectly. The question is what you choose to polarize around. There's a world of difference between polarizing on principles and polarizing on people. One is a lighthouse, the other is a weapon. Alienating polarization is almost always about identity. It says, people who believe X are bad, or stupid, or immoral. It attacks the person, their character, their group affiliation. It makes the disagreement personal. It turns a debate about ideas into a holy war between good and evil, us and them. There is no coming back from that. Once you've told someone they are a bad person for what they believe, the conversation is over. You have alienated them. There is another way. It's possible to be intensely polarizing around a method, a process, a value or a vision of the future, without attacking the identity of those who disagree. This is the model of the opinionated software company 37 Signals. For years, they have published manifestos about how to work. They are fiercely against the 40-hour workweek, constant meetings, and VC funding. They are polarizing. Their stance actively repels people who thrive in a traditional corporate environment. But notice the language. They say, this is how we choose to work, and here's why we believe it's better. They describe a process. They advocate for a set of values. They are polarizing on the how, on the what. Their message is, our way is for you if you believe these things. The unspoken corollary is, and it's for you if you don't. That is respectful. It gives people the agency to opt out. It says, we have a strong point of view, which attracts a tribe. It does this without saying, you are a fool for wanting to work at a big company. It polarizes on the idea, the philosophy of work itself. It allows someone to read their argument, disagree completely, and still respect the clarity of their position. They haven't been attacked. They've been presented with a clear choice. This is the crucial distinction. You can have a razor-sharp point of view while granting others the grace to have their own. Imagine a chef who dedicates their life to vegan cuisine. She believes it is healthier, more ethical, and more creative. Her entire restaurant is a polarizing statement in a world of steakhouses. She is planting a flag. She will attract vegans, vegetarians, and the curious. She will repel avid meat eaters. But she does this without running ads that say, people who eat steak are murderers. Her polarization is in her craft. It's in the thing she builds. The quality of her food and the passion behind her philosophy are her arguments. She polarizes by offering a compelling, well-executed alternative. She forces a choice, but it's an invitation, an offering. You can walk by her restaurant, read the menu, and decide this is for me or this is for me. You choose to enter or walk on by. You haven't been shamed, you've been sorted. This is the path through the minefield. To stop framing the debate around people's identities and start framing it around ideas, methods, and outcomes. You can be fiercely, unapologetically committed to your way of solving a problem. You can argue with passion that your approach is superior. This will naturally create division, it will polarize, but it does so on the merits of the idea. It leaves room for the other person's humanity. It allows for the possibility that a good, smart person can arrive at a different conclusion. It separates the idea from the identity. This is incredibly difficult to do in practice. Our brains are wired for tribalism. It is far easier to create loyalty by pointing to a common enemy than by articulating a complex positive vision. It's easier to get clicks and outrage by attacking a person than by dissecting a policy. It feels good to be on the side of the righteous, battling the forces of darkness, but that feeling is a trap. It narrows your own mind. It makes you intellectually brittle. You stop learning from those who disagree with you because you've already dismissed them as morally bankrupt. You build an echo chamber that feels warm and affirming, right up until the moment it collapses because it was completely disconnected from reality. True intellectual courage is holding a strong polarizing opinion while simultaneously acknowledging that people who hold the opposite view are just as human and complex as you are. It's the ability to say, I believe you're profoundly wrong on this issue, and here is my mountain of evidence, but I will defend to the death your right to make your case. That stance is itself polarizing. It will anger the extremists on your own side who demand ideological purity and the total annihilation of the opposition. It will confuse those who see everything as a simple battle of us versus them. It requires a level of security that is rare, the security to believe in your ideas so strongly that you them to be challenged. So what does this mean for you, holding a conviction you believe in, but terrified of the social cost of expressing it? It means you have to choose your axis of polarization. Will you make it about identity, about who is good and who is evil, or will you make it about ideas, about which path leads to the best future? Will you attack the person, or will you critique the plan? One path leads to alienation, echo chambers, and perpetual conflict. The other leads to clarity, a loyal tribe, and the possibility of actual progress. It's the difference between burning the world down and lighting a beacon. Both produce a powerful light. Only one shows the way forward. So where is your line? Which hills are you willing to die on, and which are you willing to concede for the sake of coalition? More importantly, when you plant your flag, is it a declaration of war against an enemy person? Or is it an invitation for allies to join you in building something new? Which bridges are you willing to burn to build the cathedral you believe in? And which cathedrals are you willing to see crumble to keep the peace?